Alrighty guys, welcome back to Greasy 46. Welcome back to the channel. Got some more stuff going on today. It's going to be another parking lot Z3 working day. So we went ahead and ordered some parts from JXB Performance. I've seen this brand in the E36 Facebook group before. And one of the really only problems we're having with the Z3 is that there's some vibrations around, like behind the seats in the middle of the car, and it's only from about 2,000 to 3,000 RPM. When you're going up through the rev range, it just like, it's like a 3 taps almost. It's just like brrr, real quick vibrations, and it almost feels like something's like slapping the bottom of the car. So we went ahead and spent a decent amount of money on a JXB Performance driveshaft center support bearing bushing carrier, however you want to say it, driveshaft carrier, whatever. And then it came with new bushings in here, obviously. So we're gonna go ahead and try and knock that out today on the car. Hopefully that is the issue. I've seen other people complain about similar things, and most of the forums point to it being the center support bushing for the drive shaft being old and worn out, so it allows the drive shaft to move up and down, which will give you that vibration for certain RPM. So hopefully this takes care of that. So as you can see, we've got the car up on jack stands now, or not on jack stands, on the ramps in the back, just to give us more access to everything underneath. And then we're going to go ahead, slide under, and see what it's looking like. All right, so we went ahead and just jacked the front up. We got a jack on both sides too, just to give me some more clearance underneath there. And then now that I've gone under it a few times, I've kind of got a game plan of how it's gonna go. So pretty much, they've got some install videos, but none on the Z3 specifically. So there's an exhaust hanger right here and right here that you'll have to undo. I already undid this one. I'm leaving this one to last because I want the exhaust up for right now, because the drive shaft connects right here to the diff and then goes through behind this heat shielding, and then the part that we need to access is going to be right in here, pretty much right above this flange. And I just want the exhaust up right now because we're gonna have to remove this heat shielding. I just went through, cleaned off all these old nuts that had some rust and dirt built up on them, just to make it a little bit easier, and then soaked them in some PB Blaster. So we're gonna go ahead and loosen these, pull these off. It looks like the post-cat O2 sensor is right here, and then the wiring for it runs connected to this heat shielding. So once you pull this down, we'll go ahead and undo these clips that hold the wire into it, and then pull that and unscrew it if we need to, or if it's possible, we'll just let it hang so we can get this out of the way. Once we start pulling this and the heat shielding's all loose, we'll go ahead and drop this last exhaust hanger so the exhaust can come down, and then we'll hopefully be able to get and pull the heat shielding out in a way so that we can access this area right now, or right here. So right now, I'm just going through and disconnecting this O2 sensor wire from the actual heat shielding itself. So it's just got these little clips right here that hold it in. So just go ahead and start popping them up. You might actually be able to disconnect it right now, and that should make it easier on us. So we got it disconnected now, so that'll give this one a little more space. Pull that off now, so that's all good to go. Then we'll go ahead and start hitting these bolts and pull those out so the heat shrink, or the heat shield, can come down. That's gonna be a 10 mil for these. Just make sure we don't lose those. So we got all those off now, and we're gonna go ahead and try and pull this down. And that heat shielding is off now. So after messing with it for a while, we got the hangers off the exhaust, but the exhaust itself doesn't come down far enough to let that heat shield out. So I think what we're gonna have to do, unfortunately, is unbolt the back half, the cap back piece of the exhaust, which I didn't really want to do because I don't have any gaskets for that, you know, just laying around. So we're gonna have to unbolt from right here as best we can. I'm gonna go ahead and try and get the bolts cleaned up somewhat well. I just always like to do it. It makes it a little bit easier, I think, and kind of helps your socket grip it a little bit, but we'll go ahead and start by doing that. So we went ahead and took the bolts off underneath there. Didn't record it because it was taking a while, but we were able to get one out. The other bolts we ended up having to cut off because this nut just started getting super shitty. And you had to do what you had to do. Tried to take it off, tried to slam an 11 on it to get it to come off, but it was just not letting go. So, but now that's all loose, we'll climb back underneath there, take the hangers off, and then remove that cap back piece of the exhaust. And we're gonna end up having to go and get another set of nuts and bolts. And this one's still usable, but I would probably like to get new ones just for both. And then just use these two as reference for, you know, how big I need and the length and everything. So that kind of works out. But let's go ahead and get back underneath there, and we'll start pulling this piece of the exhaust out. Pull that hanger off, pull this off. And now, oh fuck, did I miss one? Yep, I missed the hanger. All right. Throw that back on. We got a hanger right here. All right, well, we finally got this last hanger off. So now we can go ahead and fully drop the exhaust out. Let's get this one out first. Seems to be the best way to do it. Get that out. Get that spun out the way. Pull it all straight back. All right. Now we can pull the fucking heat shield off and do all our shit with that. Now we have room to get to the center support bearing. So we took a lunch break, ran to Home Depot real quick, grabbed some more hardware, nuts and bolts for the exhaust. Now we're back out, got everything set back up again. We're gonna go ahead, get underneath there, take our Dremel and start cutting the two pieces that hold up the center support bearing. That's what happens in most of their videos that they have for install. Like I said, they haven't done one specifically for a Z3 yet, but we're gonna go ahead and replicate that, cut off the sides on both the carriers, and then spin the center support carrier, and then cut that as well. Now that we're underneath it again, you can see what I'm talking about. So this is the carrier bushing, or the carrier for it right now. We're gonna go ahead and cut both these pieces right through here. That, and then this side, and then unbolt those so that we can spin this whole piece. And then we'll start making our cuts onto the actual support bearing so that we can pull it out. So as you can see now, that piece is free. See how that one can move all freely now. So just gotta do this one, then we'll go ahead and unbolt these and then start our cuts into here. So as you can see, we got both the ears cut now. You can see that moves pretty much freely. It's got a little piece right there that's still on, but we can probably just pry that off once we take these nuts off. It's a 13 mil for these. And we can go ahead and start breaking these loose. That's it for that one. And then, yeah, looks like we'll just be able to pry that piece off, just like we did. Now you can see that the drive shaft's hanging, so then we can start spinning this piece a little bit. And then we'll be able to start making cuts into this piece itself. And then that'll allow us to take it off, you know, piece by piece. So basically it just makes it into like a half. And then, you know, we can take it off and then throw our new one in from there. Well, now that we've made our two cuts, we've got, see that one right here, and we got one right here, and you can see that it is pretty wobbly now. We're gonna go ahead, and this is what they tell you to do on all the other installs. So you get a razor, and then all this stuff right here is just rubber. So you're just gonna get a razor blade, and then cut through this rubber so that it'll make this able to come off, because right now the only thing that's holding it together there is just that rubber in between them. You can see we cut through that chunk. There we go. Now we're just gonna go ahead and do that all the way around until it comes free. So went back and looked at some of their install videos for some of their other Beamers and stuff like that. It actually says to cut as much as you can off, so that, you know, cut as much of that rib off as you can, so that there's just a flat piece. of initial rubber on the bearing. But I've been down here for a while cutting as much as I can. I'm gonna call this about good. And then it's still a little bit like ridged up right there. But if you look at the new setup, or the new bushing, I guess, there is a hole right there, and it looks like that would, you know, somewhat fit in there, kind of, you know what I mean? Because it is going to be a little raised still. So I'm assuming that's part of it. And looking at it, it says that the front would be that way, but I'm going to go ahead and flip it. I know on their E36, I believe, install, they actually flip the whole thing backwards so that the text is facing backwards, and I believe that's going to be the case for this one as well. So we're going to go ahead and get out, grab the new carrier, and then start putting it in. Alright, so we got our box right here. These are our new bushings. Got our hardware right here. We're gonna wait on these later. This is to actually mount it to the car. And then we've got the new carrier itself right here. So, like I said, this says front. The text usually goes forward, as far as from what I've seen, but we're actually gonna go ahead and put it backwards. So that will, I'll have to look again when we get down there, but that will put this piece, this little slot, aligned with the rest of that ridge, and I think that makes a little more sense than running it. And since they don't have a complete install video for the Z3s yet, I'm kind of just winging it for now. But to take these out, you just need, 6mm Allen. These are gonna come apart. All right, we went underneath again and got the carrier mocked up. Now we're just gonna go ahead and get it bolted in. Got some thread locker. I believe the torque for these is right around 25 Newton meters. So that's like 22, I think it's like 18 or 22 foot-pounds. Not really gonna be able to torque it, so I'm just gonna try and get it as tight as I can, right? But we'll just try and do our best. All right, you can see it mocked up in there. Now we're just gonna go ahead and try and throw the bolts in for it best we can before we do that. Before we do that, we're gonna go ahead and put some thread locker on these. All right, feels like we got that seated. That bolt starting to thread. So we'll grab our next one. Throw some of the blue thread locker on there as well. And now that they're both seated, we're gonna go ahead and start running them in. You're gonna want to go back and forth from side to side so that it doesn't get kinked up or anything. So now we've got the rest of our bag of goodies. All this stuff is what actually holds the carrier back onto the car studs. So you get your big washer on the nut side, then you get isolation damper, put it through the carrier itself. Then there's going to be another isolation damper on top of that. The carrier in between. This nut will be on top, or this washer will be on top, and then the stud all the way through, and that's how we're going to get it on there. So now we're going to go ahead and then start hanging our material off them. You got that Washer up there. Throw the washer in on this side. Let it hang. Already got our washer isolation damper. We'll throw the isolation damper on. Kick that up till that seats. And then we'll start getting some threads in on that. So now it's hanging from that one. And we'll do this side, run that through, put the isolation damper on, and then start getting this side threaded as well. Now we got both sides at least threaded on. We go ahead and get the ratchet and then start ratcheting on. Go ahead and torque it. Torque's 18 Newton meters, but my torque wrench only goes down to 20, so we're just gonna see what that feels like. Maybe do it a little bit before it hits that torque. Alright guys, so I think we're done with that install now. Got everything in there, all torqued and whatnot. It's looking good so far. I mean, you know, looks like it's doing what it's meant to do. So we'll have to wrap everything up and see you know, how it does on the ground, but hopefully it'll fix our vibration issue. And you know, I didn't do this for a whole day just to, you know, not fix what was wrong with the car, but oh well, it's still a good part to have, so you know, we'll just keep going on it. Alright, so we got the heat shield back in, but you know, I feel like you're not truly a car guy unless every time you have your part of your exhaust off you want to hear what it sounds like. So since we have half, you know, the muffler and the resonator gone, we just have the headers to the cat, or yeah, to the mid pipe and cat. You know, why not see what it sounds like with basically being straight pipe? So yeah, let's go ahead and turn it on and see what it sounds like. Alright, about to turn it on and see what it sounds like. Yep, so just like we thought, it's fucking ridiculously loud, so definitely don't want that for a daily, but it's kind of funny. Just seeing it like that. Alright guys, well, it's a different day. We finished installing the center support bearing and bushing for the drive shaft. It made a difference for sure, but it wasn't anything like super crazy. I could tell that there was a little less vibration, but you know, it still didn't fix the main vibration issue we were having, which now I think it's just motor mounts. And the rest of this video I had filmed prior to doing the poly trans mounts, and then I'm filming this outro part after doing those. So the poly trans mounts video will already be out, and those in succession both definitely helped, but narrowing it down, I do think it's just engine mount, so we'll probably order those soon and you'll see that. And yeah, we'll see if that makes a difference. It's not a big deal, right? After you clear the certain RPM, it smooths out, but it's just kind of, it'd be nice to have it be a little bit smoother, you know, across the rev range. So, but yeah, it was kind of a pain in the ass. not gonna lie, just because you got to make all those cuts and it's kind of a tight space, but all in all it wasn't too bad. And you know, again, if you got the tools for it and you got enough time, it's definitely something you could do in a day for sure. So moving forward, we're probably gonna order another same kit for the coupe, just because it's you know, it's a good part to have. So since we're kind of on this whole thing of getting new bushings and stiffening stuff up, I'll probably end up getting another one for the coupe here at some point. So we'll just keep coming on these parts and whatnot. But thanks for watching, y'all. See y'all in the next video for the next maintenance DIY thing. And yeah, thanks for watching. See you next time.